Hi there! You're invited to listen to an exclusive excerpt from the next episode that I'll be publishing on Sunday. My next guest is absolutely fascinating, and this is just a teaser of what you can expect from our discussion. Enjoy listening, and I'll see you on Sunday for the full episode.
Welcome to Finscale, a podcast created by Solène Niederkorn, shedding light on innovation in finance, banking, and insurance.
Building trust in digital assets. Siobhan Moret, director at Saffery Champness.
Yeah, there's a few different triggers. So the triggers can be personal or the triggers can be business related. The business related triggers are, hey, I've got a company or I've started something already and it's in my own name and I don't want to have it taxed in my own name. But generally it's they're creating something and they're looking for the best possible way that they can start those activities. They've created an asset, they've issued a token or something similar, or they're creating a DAO, for example. And they will generally reach out and get some legal advice. And the legal advice will say, your best options are, A, B, C, and D, foundation or a trust or a purpose trust or something similar.
There is nothing I enjoy more than exploring complex and intriguing areas of finance with you. In this podcast, my guest from Switzerland sheds light on fiduciary services, trusts, and their relationship with wealth management, as well as common misconceptions. We discuss the use, benefits, and drawbacks of trusts for holding assets such as rainforest deeds, IP, and digital assets, and the importance of fiduciary duties and governance. We also touch on the typology of clients using trusts, including pioneers, founders, and experienced investors. Siobhan mentions the evolution of regulation and the interest in building trusts in Switzerland, along with the controversies surrounding the Pandora papers. During the conversation, she talks about the challenges of building trust in the context of digital assets, including specific use cases such as the inheritance of NFTs and the creation of a token foundation through which DAOs with their own on-chain treasury can interact with the off-chain world. She explains the partnerships Saffery Champness is building with service providers in traditional finance and the crypto ecosystems such as Coinify. Enjoy the show! Hello, everyone. Hi, Siobhan.
Hi.
Good to see you. Not in Chamonix, but in a video conference. Thank you for accepting my invitation.
You're very welcome. I'm delighted to be on.
Yes, so we had decided to talk about Chamonix this week. No, it's a joke. We have a great passion in common with Siobhan, which is Chamonix, but we will concentrate on fiduciary services particularly. May I ask you to quickly present yourself and explain to us where you come from and say a few words about your entrepreneurial experience in France? So interesting, exciting.
All right. So obviously, fiduciary services are infinitely more interesting than Chamonix. So I will focus on this as well. My name is Siobhan Moret. I am a director here at Saffery Champness, which is a trust company operating out of Geneva. My personal background is I've been working in trust for quite a few years, actually, but not all at one time. So I started off in the trust industry in the Isle of Man, where I was brought up. I'm originally Irish, actually, with Dutch parents, so I'm a total mix, which fits me in very well in Geneva, I would say, because so is everyone else. I moved to Chamonix when I decided that perhaps corporate life wasn't exactly for me at the age of 23. And then I embarked on a long period, about 12 years of being an entrepreneur in France. In the ski industry, I had a property company. We built up to about 70 chalets. I had a boutique B&B. I had a bar and restaurant, just all of these different things and life that seems far away right now. But in the end, my entrepreneurial life in France came to an end. As I was close to Geneva, I decided it was a good idea to reprise my corporate career. And there is a very flourishing trust industry in Geneva. So it was a natural thing for me to come down here and to start working again in this industry.
So, yes, this is a topic that I've not covered at all since now 3 years. It's fiduciary. We just talked once about fiduciary in the context of France. what is interesting for me is that you share with us some info about trust industry and how entrepreneurs and particularly high net worth individuals implement wealth planning strategies to protect their legacies. So maybe we can start by this very simple question is, can you explain to us what fiduciary services are and how they relate to trusts?
Fiduciary services is not to be confused with fiduciaire, which means something completely different in French, and is not the same service at all. In fact, a fiduciary structure in common law is where a trustee legally holds and administers assets for the benefit of another person or a group of people. Mm-hmm. So this is normally traditionally through a foundation or a trust, together with maybe an underlying company holding assets. And these assets, it's without restriction. So you can be mundane bank assets or quite exotic. We have had things like rainforests or, deeds to IP, down to blockchain and digital assets like we'll talk about today. So in short, by law, a trustee is required as their fiduciary duty to protect these assets with the best interests of those beneficiaries in mind. And that's according to the trustee that's set in place. So the provisions of the trustee. They can be attacked in court if they don't do that correctly.
Okay. And what are the benefits and drawbacks of using that kind of vehicles for estate planning or asset protection?
Well, the most common way that these structures are used is for succession planning. And that can be in either personal succession planning, where you're talking about your own family and you want to succeed your assets to your beneficiaries, or it could be a business scenario where you want to pass on that business either to family members or to others, or even can be in a donation perspective. So like a charity, you're committing assets to a charity and you want it to be distributed in a certain way which is in accordance with your wishes.
Now that you've heard an excerpt from the upcoming episode on Sunday, make sure you stay tuned and connected so you don't miss a beat.